How y'all are tonight?
Good evening, everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to another edition of El Pedro Dish. I am your host, Howard Pedro, along with host Eileen Pedro, Nick of the Pedro, and Adrian Pedro. Tonight's guest we have tonight is Mr. Robert Righi, right? Righi?
That's correct. It's his Italian name, yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Nick.
There's some Italian. And Todd's in there. Hey, Todd.
Hey, Todd. Hey, Donald.
Donald. Carl. Hey, Mr. Carl.
I got to fix that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to share this out now.
Donald. Todd. Carl.
Mr. Carl, good to see you.
Wait, Todd's on YouTube. What the heck?
They don't have an Eileen Jones page.
Paranormal consultant says, hi, Robert.
Oh, hello. How are you, my friend? How are you, my brother?
I'm going to be on the backdoor paranormal. That's right. I got you.
Put it on share to Eileen Jones because I can't share still. 14 more days and 3 more hours.
I don't know if I can now anyway, but I'm going to try.
Are you in jail too?
I might be after today.
Wow. Well, I have bail if you need that.
I might before it's over.
Let's see. Still share. Yeah, there's another one.
There we go.
Y'all sharing it out? Y'all being good? Y'all share this out. Everybody share it out. Y'all get one person on there. Y'all didn't. Look. Y'all need to vote for me and the shows for Paranormal Awards. It's already ended. I mean, and the ones who didn't vote for me, I'm coming to your house.
Are those like the porno awards? Are those like the pornography awards that they give out?
It is actually.
We would get that. Yes, we would. Yeah, we would.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we will.
Howard is the new Johnny Holmes.
No, I'm on the opposite side of John's Holmes. I'd be like his, pimple on that thing that he calls.
I don't know what happened.
Oh my
God!
I wouldn't make it that far. I mean, that man there. I've seen some of his movies before. Yeah, lately I've been more into midget porn myself. That's my cup of tea. I think Robert froze on us. He's in some bad weather tonight.
Who is?
Robert.
Yeah, I think he froze.
I got another picture.
But oh my gosh, Childers is on.
Hi, David.
We're talking about that stud of a man.
Mr. Childers.
He's a sweetheart. I can't say nothing bad about him.
Donald, back me up on this.
Yeah, he's awesome.
David is not a sweetheart.
Thank you, paranormal consultant.
He was good to me, and he had no idea who I was. So to me, he's awesome.
Yeah,
he fools people very well.
He's trying to come in.
I'll take what I can get.
There he is.
Yeah, he's there. He's in a bad area right now.
Hey, Ernie.
Yeah.
And while we're waiting on this, everybody don't forget to go to www.savewaverlyhills.com.
Yeah.
It's still an ongoing battle. Keep the support going for it.
Hi, Irene.
Ernie, if you want to type in the link, go ahead and type it in. Hey, Irene.
Jeremy, hi.
What's going on, Joanne? Donald, new topic tonight, midget porn.
No, it's not. No, Donald, please don't encourage him.
I know it's not. I'm just laughing at it.
Midget porn. How does it affect you?
I haven't gotten the opportunity.
It doesn't because I don't watch it.
I haven't gotten an opportunity to talk to Joanne, and I hear so much about her, how sweet she is.
I just got a message today from Jesse Stewart from These Ghosts, and he said he just made another 3-in-1 device that has an ultrasonic speaker. When you use the frequency generator app, plug in your auxiliary cord in, and it puts out a vibrational energy. Then he added a vibration detector and a trigger object sensor TOS.
I know I've got the coffin, and it's awesome.
So, I mean, I told him it sounds awesome, and he said it's epic. And I said, you just take my money now. That's what he keeps doing. He just keeps taking my money. So, I mean, damn you, Jesse.
Yeah, I need to talk to him about a new spirit box because mine is going all kinds of haywire.
So y'all need to get a boozy.
Linda, because she's.
Let's see.
Linda, our guest tonight, she's in a bad area right now. So
yeah.
Letter was asking what happened to our guest for tonight.
There he is. I see him now. There he is. Just came in.
There he is.
I don't know what happened. That's no freaking clue.
There we go.
Bad weather will do it every now and then to you.
And everything else.
Donald, you got plenty of time on your hands to start building.
I'm sorry?
I talked to
Robert, you're in the same state as me, like you said yesterday.
He's from Peoria.
Yeah, it's real foggy here. It's very drizzly and very foggy.
He's in the same state as Dawn.
Yeah, I mean, literally, Peoria and me. Well, he's in the same town, but he's also, I'm only like about 3.5 hours out from Peoria because, Robert, I live more closer to Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really like the podcast that you do. You show these old movies and everything. Wonderful.
Oh, really? Yeah. I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Thanks, Robert. I'll be doing it again next week, of course.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Hey,
so what are we going to talk about? The weather tonight, or are we going to talk
that's what I was going to say. There's so many topics we can go with you on this. I mean, you did, witness Ted Bundy's execution, correct? Your paranormal psychologist.
I told you he wasn't nice.
David, I just offended you and said how sweet you were. What are you doing?
She does. It looks like somebody hit her with a squeegee. Looks like somebody hit her with a squeegee.
Y'all just glad I'm on here. I do have COVID, so y'all are glad I'm just on here.
Okay, so I have a topic. I want everybody's opinion on this. Okay, everybody knows I like dolls. None of one of mine are haunted. Maybe one day they will be. I don't know. We'll see.
You might want to rephrase that, baby.
I'm gay and I hate dolls. So can we talk about something else?
No. We're going to get this out first. Okay. I want to know. We all know dolls walk, or let's try this again. Spirits walk through walls. They walk anywhere they damn well want to. Tell me how glass is going to keep them contained. Annabelle.
Bull's milk. Bull's milk. When you're milking a bull.
Okay. Sure. Whatever. I want to hear everybody's opinion on how's that spirit going to stay contained behind 4 glass walls?
For me, for me personally, in my experience after all these 60 plus years and such, it's just the fact that if they want to get out of there, they will. They will. No glass is going to keep them. No salt, no holy water, nothing at all.
It's kind of my thought too, but I want to know why I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
It's because your name is Adrian Hart. I mean, I don't know.
And this is for you.
Oh my God.
Is the spirit
I
trapped
haven't-
in the dog? Could that
I
be
haven't-
part of, you know?
I haven't seen that finger in years, so thank you.
See that one? And look, then that and that. See, that's for you and the horse you rode in on.
That's right. Where would the pin be?
Yeah, it was in the text.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
Anyhow, I really believe
Oh,
that
five,
if
two, five.
a doll, if it wants to come out and do whatever, he will. Annabelle is the same thing. I think when people put dolls and whatever, artifacts, whatever, underneath a glass or whatever, I think it's more. I think they want to go for the effect, thinking that they're truly, truly evil. You know?
Right.
I said the same thing, Jeremy.
Danny, hi.
Hi, Jeremy. Hope you're feeling better.
What you need?
She says that wasn't in it.
Yeah, it is because it was sent to text.
Tell Gummy Bear Senior to leave the room.
No, it's damn Uber Eats. I got a steak and they want a code. I don't know.
Code.
$60 later, they better give me my fucking steak. It's all I know.
Steak. What kind of steak you got for $60?
Steak and shrimp from
Got a surf and turf? Surf and turf?
Ooh, that actually sounds really good.
Adrian, I don't care if I've got COVID. I'll be there in a minute.
Come on. I don't care.
Adrian, I have a so-called haunted watch. If you want it, I will send it to you.
Send it to me. I actually have a page where I document haunted things and whether verify or don't that they're haunted so people can sell them and actually have the video or audio that they are.
I see. Well, okay. Well, send me your address, private message me, and I will send you this watch. Okay?
Thank you, baby.
And how I got this watch, Adrian, is I went to an abandoned mansion out west. And we were just going through some things. We were given permission, whatever we wanted to take, we could. And but anyhow, so I have this watch, so I will send it to you.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
I don't want to hear you, Howard.
Oh my
it's
God.
the comments. I ain't saying shit. It's the comments.
Oh, who do I not want to hear? His spirit wants to stay inside a doll. I can't. Yeah,
It's on the screen. It's on the screen.
Eileen Jones. You always have.
And remember what I told you. He's not nice.
David, you're rubbing me wrong. Why? Why are you doing that?
What
See? You're going to listen to me one day. I know what I'm talking about.
David,
what is,
no.
What is VD?
Venereal disease.
My brothers come at me hard. What can I say?
That's better than soft.
Eileen, she's
Oh my
she's
God.
she's
What?
Eileen's become my
You're punching
opposer
bag?
there.
Donald, David, what's wrong with you guys? Be nice.
Trust me, Irene, I get them every time I see them. I knock.
And you
them
want to say
out.
about me? Oh, Howard, I want to look. I ain't got to say shit. Everybody who knows who comes on this show, they already got my back. I mean, that's it. They're just gonna go at Eileen. You just the target. That's it.
I'm just loved. What can I say?
Oh, you are. I love your accent.
Donald, this is our nice. Okay.
What are you eating?
It's
You
so
really
nice.
gonna eat that steak and shrimp in front of us? And broccoli? You
Biatch.
it's
Can you taste
I
at
already
this
ate, so
point?
I'm not feeling jealous.
I got to get with Donald. We want to try to set up something. Go to the funeral home.
You're not allowed at the funeral home. I put a ban on you at the funeral home.
No, I'm going.
Nope. I put a ban on
I'm
you.
there. I'm
And
there.
Todd too. Todd
There. I'm
has
there.
a ban.
And I'm gonna find your house. And I'm gonna shit on your front lawn.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah. My house is hidden.
You'll
Okay.
be doing that a lot,
Oh, my
Robert.
Well, the fact that the girls are supposed to stick together.
Probably so.
Oh, Rebecca's on here too.
With
Oh,
I
she's
don't
been
know
on
which
for a
one
few
I-
minutes.
Hell, Jerry, what you talking about? You getting fan
I'm
taste?
not saying anything.
I'm not touching that one during all this other conversation.
No, not with this conversation going. You don't want to put that on there, Jeremy.
Jeremy, is one of them steak? Because it's really good.
Shut up.
That poor man's sucking shit through a straw, and you over there eating steak in front of the man.
He's actually eating pretty good right now. He's doing awesome.
Wonderful. That's great.
Is that true, Eileen?
I'm not
You're
talking.
that red light district.
I'm not talking to Childers. When he's no taller than an ant, I'm not going to talk to him.
Oh, honey, you're good. Lord, you're hot. But I love you. You know what? I love your spirit. I do. I love your spirit. I'm gay. I would never have sex with you because I would puke. But I love your
Oh,
spirit.
I know else would either.
That's exactly the kind of people I want to go investigate with. They can be your best friend, and you don't have to worry about nothing.
That's right. That's right.
And they will tell you. They will look at you and go, "Bitch, put some shit on because that looks like shit."
Yeah. That's very true.
Yes.
Let's get back to Robert. I mean, we're all over the place. We've been spent 20 minutes already talking about,
Ragging me. Let's talk about Robert.
Let's get off the.
My experience is like, I'm 67 years old, for God's sake. I've been here since I've been 4 years old. And so I have a lot of experience, and I do a lot of things, but it doesn't make me any greater or less than anyone else. It doesn't. I am who I am. I like to have fun. I fall short of the glory of God or the universe every day of my life. I pick my nose like everybody else. I pick my ass like everybody else. I'm just a regular human being.
And that's exactly the kind of people I want to be around. I have no desire to be around.
So you really, really want to be around me because I pick other things besides that. I mean, I pick.
Howard picks something else of that.
Howard?
Oh, no. This is it. No. The dog is off the leash. The dog is off the leash.
Hey, Denise.
Denise is in
that's
here.
tomorrow. You're not off the leash tonight.
Yeah, I am. I'm off the leash. I got the grandson back there. What happened to Nick? That's right.
What the hell happened to Nick? Nick, dude.
He went to play with the cord.
Yeah. He's looking for his freaking cup. Eileen, you have it again?
I do. I'm not going to tell him where it is this time.
Oh. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I'm having the same connection problems too.
So we're going to talk to Mr. Robert about. You want to talk about? We were actually having a discussion. We were talking about Amityville a little bit, but he knows the young man that was in the actual house when it was actually all that stuff was supposed to have been going on. The youngest son, I believe, at the time he was 7 years old, huh, Robert?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Chris was 7 years old when it happened. And Chris and I are very, very good friends. He's not rich. Yeah, he did a lot of interviews, I guess, for the movie and all that stuff and everything. And but he has gotten away from Amityville. He lives in the southwest of the United States. He has his own business. He's married. After the severe abuse that George it was almost like daily beating stuff. George was portrayed in the first movie as being the saint. No, no,
They
no,
say
no.
they're saying that the audio is a little muffled, Robert, for some
Can you
reason.
hear me? Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
going to say I can't hear you too well. Yeah, now you can. There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, thank you. And so George, like I said, was portrayed as saint in the movie, and he was far from it. He was very abusive to Chris and his mother, Kathy, and that went on for years and years. At the end of the movie, you see how George put the dog in the station wagon, and they drove off and whatever. The reality is that George stomped that dog to death in front of his family, and then he got into the station wagon and they drove off. They moved to California where the beating continued. Chris went through hell, so did his mother. And he wanted to do a new movie about the truth of Bill. But his siblings turned on him terribly because they were getting a lot of money from the first movie, right? Chris really didn't get a dime because he was so young. And, but anyhow, sometime when Chris is ready to come on, and so he will. And because I've asked him, and he said, Robert, he said that when he's ready, he would like to have me on the podcast with him. It's not that he can't do a podcast by himself. It's not that, but it's just the fact that he is tired of being ridiculed. He is because he wants the truth to be known, and people don't believe him. But again, my family and friends, let me tell you that when he's 7 years old, okay, so he's looking through the eyes of a 7-year-old, okay, and his remembrance of what happened is totally different. Do his siblings say that Chris was beaten? Yes. That his mother was beaten? Yes. And did those things happen in the house with the ooze and all that shit coming off the walls? His brothers and sisters said yes, and Christopher said no. That never happened. Never happened at all. So, but anyhow, Chris is a good guy. He's really a great guy. He really is. And so, but just to hear his story, and what's fascinating about it all is that his siblings won't do a podcast. They won't come on and talk about it. None whatsoever.
Well, when he's ready, you tell him he's got a support group behind him.
Well, thank you. And he may be watching. I'm not really sure. There are certain things that I can talk about it.
I just got to say,
Right. And
Go
I
ahead.
get it. If he is watching,
yeah,
welcome to PM me anytime. You're welcome to talk. I won't talk about it to anyone else but you. It's fine. When you're ready to come on, you have a support group behind you. We've heard what we would think was crazy before we got in this field. It's not crazy anymore.
Yeah, look at me. I mean, I'm
Oh,
living
you
proof.
are crazy. No, you are
Yeah, but
crazy. There is
we got that
no.
at the same time.
I've got papers.
Ricky, hey, glad you stopped in to say hi.
No, but like you're saying, his parents and all. I mean, you get different people portrayed different. I'll give you a prime example. Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Oh my God!
You see those people that you see the movies and they portray them as the loving couple. They were ass, especially Ed. He was the biggest asshole that probably walked the earth, But
I liked Ed.
Oh, there goes Nick again.
And so Chris will tell you about the Warrens, and I'll let him tell you what he feels about the Warrens. I can just briefly say that he believes. Well, again, he's 7 years old, okay, but it's just a fact that he thought Ed was way beyond the scope of what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Lorraine was on target, but Ed, when he got into that, it was just way above his head.
Right.
Because it was George. Yeah, I can say this. It was George that brought all the crap into that house. He was a drug addict. He was an alcoholic.
Right.
He played with the Ouija board.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that all people who play with the Ouija board are going to be, whatever. But it's just the fact that George was a hot frickin' mess. And in the movie, again, he was portrayed as a saint.
David, I love you even more after that comment.
Yeah,
Thank
how about
you.
that? I'll let
David
him know
knows
that,
me.
but that wasn't
He
a
knows.
comment.
Exactly.
Hey,
He's exactly right. I am a nutbag. We share them. 1 week
Hey,
I have the
Robert, I gotta
nutbag, the
say-
next week he's got it. It's where we work it.
No. No.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
A lot of people don't think at a young age that you hold on to certain memories. I mean, I had memories of my childhood that like two of my siblings denied I ever had it. It wasn't until I finally addressed it with one of my siblings, and he was like, "Yeah, no, that happened." And I was 3 years old. I could tell you by detail, step by step, something that happened.
Mhm.
And no one believed me until he finally spoke up and said, "Yeah, that's exactly what happened." So
Right.
people don't think when you're young that your memory is going to be
Right.
vivid like that. But when it's something traumatic going on in your life, you either push it so far back that you don't remember it all, or it never leaves the surface and it stays with you. There's not really, I've never seen that middle area.
And it's very, very true, because it's a survivor skill that we do. We begin to stuff the most traumatic things in our lives. Other people get it, and sometimes that's possible. But at any given time, and being the psychologist, that it will rear its ugly head. With Chris, he became an alcoholic. He became almost a carbon copy of George. He had to get away. When they moved to California, he went through hell, got into jail. His mother would never divorce George, never. People got him to bed. If you ever see interviews of Kathy and George on TV, he hardly says anything at all. He looks like a beaten dog. You know what I mean? And so Chris had to get away, and he did. He graduated from high. He decided to join the military, and he has told me numerous times that the military saved his life. Saved his life.
I'm glad something did, because he needs to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to talk about it without ridicule.
Right.
Without somebody saying, "What? You're crazy."
Right.
I
gotta say,
middle ground. I've got the middle ground. My mom died when I was 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, why won't she come see me? Why? If this happens, why isn't she here? Why doesn't she visit me? And then we won't get into age, but about 3 years ago, before I actually saw, besides my doppelganger.
So you were only 23. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I saw my doppelganger when I was 8 in Costa Rica. And it was just a passing thing. I was washing my hands in the bathroom. She walked out. I didn't think anybody was in there. She walked out beside me and walked out the door, and I never saw her again. And I walked out behind her. But after that, I never had another experience until Old Park Hotel. And that was 3 years ago. And now I'm a medium. So, I mean, you can either suppress it or embrace it.
See, I can't tell y'all about my doppelganger experience, because all them guys over there and Howard would have a field day with that one.
Yeah, the guys seem to. Linda, hi.
Now,
Who
Robert,
did we miss? Ken?
Does Chris ever do anything in the paranormal field, or is he like, nope, that was life I'm done with that?
He's out of the field. He is totally. He doesn't do, like I said, any. He used to go on the circuit all the time. You know what I mean? Going to different places and such. And then he realized that he was being used by a lot of people. He was being used like George used him. That why not get Chris, at this event so we can sell more tickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when Chris would tell about the truth of what again, it is his perception of being 7 years old. Okay, so it's his perception. Okay, and people did not want to believe him, not at all. They thought that he was the one who was living in this fantasy world. You know what I mean? And so he stopped doing a lot of the interviews and stuff like that. I know that he was somebody tipped him off that a production company in California had built a house, and then I should have sent that to Howard. But anyhow, build a house that looked like Amityville, right? The house there. And he was really pissed off about it. He was really hurt. And so he went there and he raised so much ruckus, which he had the right to do. And so he took a picture in front of the house, and then he went to court and had the house destroyed. He had the house destroyed because he wants the truth to be known, and nobody wants to hear the truth. Because the truth be it known, if he did the movie like he wants to do, to tell really of what happened about George being a cocaine addict and about being an alcoholic, about beating his mother and himself constantly, with people, the paranormal folks, would they even watch it?
Right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
you know, to me, there's three kind of people. One that want to ride coattails of someone who's famous.
Right.
Right. Have at it. Good luck, because it ain't happening. Two, people that don't even know who's famous. They don't know the names. They just know that
Faces.
somebody's speaking to them, and they will respond nicely as a human, not as some celebrity. And then there's ones that think they're celebrities because they've been, I don't even know. But
Right.
Wait, are you in my head? Because you're in a conversation I had the other day.
I cannot do these people that, oh my God, you're a celebrity, so I'm going to kiss your behind until you talk to me and show me on social media that I talk to you. Okay, no.
Okay, I'll talk to you, Adrian. I will talk to you.
David Powders thinks that he's a celebrity. Let's just go ahead and say.
You know what? If he is, I that's great, because he has been so sweet. He didn't know who the hell I was from Adam, and he talked to me like he'd known me forever. I will take it. I will take it. He's a sweetheart. And
Rebecca,
I'll take it. Number 3 is David. Oh,
3 fingers.
I know.
Robert, this is my family. That's all coming at each other. This is like all my family peeps.
David has been nice from day one. I have nothing bad to say about him. And if I did have something bad to say about somebody, it would not be in public. I wouldn't.
Except when we talk about each other, right, Adrian?
Right.
Ken Allen, my brother. How are you, Ken? Thank you for watching and listening.
Aww.
Thank you.
I love the picture of that baby.
But anyhow, so in time, Christopher will do another podcast and really come out with the truth. I mean, he tried to. He is in the process of finishing up a book.
Perfect.
About the reality of Amityville.
Mm-hmm.
And it really entails his life prior to moving to Amityville, prior to George being in their lives, and the progression with when George moved in with them, married Kathy, and stuff like that. So hopefully it will be finished very, very soon.
Right.
But again, he doesn't give two shits who believes him or not, because he believes that what happened actually happened, and that's his perception.
You just made a comment that would anybody want to see or hear the truth? Honestly, it doesn't matter what anyone else wants to do. If he feels better putting,
right.
I'm not going to say, because of course we don't know. You know him. I don't know him. I don't know who else does. But if that is his truth,
right,
and he feels good about putting it out there,
right.
that's his. I mean, that might make him feel better putting it out there.
Right.
I mean,
I'd buy his book.
I mean, it's always don't. I mean, he shouldn't worry about if other people would do this or not do this. If it makes him feel better doing this, and
Right.
I mean, there's always consequences. Because I
Right.
mean,
And, right. And so again, of him being beaten down like a dog by George all those years, emotionally and physically, and to this day, he does still have somewhat of low self-esteem,
Right.
but it's a lot better from what it was. And so the book that he's writing is very cathartic for him. It is very, very healthy for him. Instead of just having this stuff down him,
Right.
it's coming out. It's very cathartic for him. It's something that he needs to do,
Right.
and just and he said, Robert, will just let the chips where they fall or whatever that saying. You know what I mean?
We have a wonderful, wonderful circle around us that we can go in our chat, talk to anybody that's on here and go, look, this is what happened. What do you think? And when somebody tells you, okay, look, did you do this, 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 and this? Nobody gets offended. They're like, okay, maybe not. So let's look at it from a different angle. Or, bitch, you're full of shit. You need to stop.
I mean, he does obviously already know that there are jerks out there.
And nobody gets offended. But everybody in this group is so supportive.
I'm not.
Except Donald, Rebecca, David, Todd.
You are too. Don't give me that bullshit.
I don't support nobody.
Bullshit.
And by the way, I mean, we was talking about that. Maybe it's best for him to do that for him because it's part of the healing process.
It is. It is very much so. It is very much so. And so we'll see what happens. I know that I will be going to where he lives this spring for a while to visit with him, to hang out with him, and to hang out with some of my paranormal brothers and sisters in Arizona. So I'm looking forward to that sometime in the spring.
You're going the wrong way. Wrong direction.
My family said that for years when I came out of the closet. So, but anyhow.
You need to come to Colorado.
I love Colorado. I mean, I snow ski in Breckenridge. I love Breckenridge. I do, And so
love Breckenridge too.
Especially in the springtime. I love to snow ski in the spring. A lot of times I will go out to the northeastern part of the United States to snow ski there because the snow is totally different. It's not like powder it is in the West.
Right.
And I'll go to both places. But right now, if you see me moving around a lot, it's because I fell on the snow and the ice a couple days ago, and I have a hairline fracture in my hip, and my left knee's pretty beat up. But anyhow, so I'm kind of moving around trying to get comfortable. So.
Did you break your tailbone?
No, I didn't. No, it is my left hip that I fell on. Hit real hard against the cement, but the ice and everything. So. But anyhow, I will be okay. I usually don't talk about my ailments and everything because our brothers and sisters are suffering much, much worse than I am. I just wanted to let you know that it's not like I'm like playing with myself or anything. But
oh damn! Oh, that's the wrong show. Never mind.
He's on the right show.
Hold on, I had to come back on the screen for that one. Adrian made me hungry, so I had to go get something to eat. I had to come back on the screen when I heard that.
Rosie, I don't know, but I'm looking into that. And if Mr. Walker could look into that for me, I will gladly go check it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think there is a lot out in Colorado.
I would like to think there is. We're real close to Estes Park, and there's lots of. Actually, there's one place I really, really want to go there. There's two. One is Deerfield, and it's the first African American community after they freed the slaves. It was an experiment. They just let them go there and said, you know what, make it or break it. Here you go. They made it. They did amazing. There's still a gas station there that's no longer in service, but it's still standing, and so is the founder's house. And we're trying to get in there to help save you know, any proceeds, any ghost hunts we do is going to go to the place to save it. But then there's also up in Estes Park, there's houses, and it's a 7-mile hike from like one house to the next. It was, they had built them and they left them just the way they were. The dishes are on the table, you know, things like that. But nobody wants to make that 7-mile hike. Oh no, I will make that 7-mile hike.
I would too, but I probably would end up crawling in there at the very end. But I would go there also in a heartbeat. Also in Aspen, you know, I snow ski in Aspen, and there are places there also, not in the town of Aspen, but in the surrounding communities that are very spirit filled, very spirit filled.
Yeah. And
You're gonna film that? Are you gonna film that, Adrian?
I am.
Okay, because I'd buy that movie from you. I mean, 50 Shades of Bigfoot. I mean, hell, that's got to be something I would watch. I'd pay $50 for that video.
Well, speaking of video, I want to know,
Jesus.
when you sent David the video of yourself, why did he watch it, and how many times did he watch it?
And that's what I was getting ready to confront David. And David, you still owe me $19.95 for that.
Plays with himself all the time in the thong. He sent me videos. No, I do not doubt that, David. I don't.
That's if I'm wearing pants. I mean,
yeah.
Today I decided to wear some, socks anyway.
No, but we're going to look around because honestly, in New Mexico, they were very shy about the paranormal. They didn't talk about it. Here, I've had people, I go to the grocery store and I've got the stickers still on my car that says paranormal investigations. I'll walk out of the store and people are standing at my car. Like, you need to come to my house.
Mm-hmm.
And
you see all that shit you got in the back seat, your little sex dungeon you got going on over at the house.
Oh.
That's why they staring at your car.
It's all gummy bears, baby. It's all gummy bears.
I mean, they're using the dildo as a freaking antenna.
Oh my God.
Hey, if it works, I will put it there. I have no problem with that. If somebody else has a problem with that, that's their own sex issue, not mine.
Oh, get real about it. I mean, hell, you're going to tell people, you might as well tell them everything, yeah. Don't give them a half truth.
Lord have mercy.
Oh,
Adrian, when I was in New Mexico, and I was there for a year on south of Gallup, and I was in a homeless shelter and soup kitchen, working with the missionaries of charity, a religious group that Mother Teresa started. I was there for a year, and so I got to know wonderful, wonderful Native American shamans. And when my missionary work was finished there, and everything is all volunteer, I went to Taos. I love Taos area. I go snow skiing in that area. It's beautiful, and I met some two wonderful, wonderful Native American shamans, and they opened up their homes. They opened up their hearts to me. And they know of my volunteer work. Again, it's not all about me, okay? But it's just the fact that I met these gentlemen and their families. I have been to 7 sweat lodges. They have, oh my God, we went horseback riding in the fall, and I should have sent Howard some of these pictures. But anyhow, they talked to me and really instructed me on skinwalkers and Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call that. And such like that. And I saw several skinwalkers in the forest, and they pointed them out to me. And all at once, Daniel, who is 75 years old, just a bit older than I am, held his hand out there, said something in the Navajo language, and I saw this animal disappear right in front of my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Right in front of my eyes. And then being in Albuquerque with them, and they pointed out, he and Daniel both pointed out skinwalkers were just walking the streets. So they were human beings. Right. He said, Robert, over there is a skinwalker. And again, he would raise his hand and say something in his language, and they would turn around and look our way. And then before my eyes, they disappeared.
Yeah. See, we had a lot of that. I was in Carlsbad, and
Okay.
it was
I love the caverns. I love the caverns there.
it was all oil field, and so people came from all over just to work the oil field.
Mhm.
And I worked at a convenience store at that point, and they would come in and say, you know, I hear you're a ghost hunter, right? Yeah. Well, we went out to this location in the middle of the night. There was no lights out there. These animals were stalking us. We won't go out there in the middle of the night anymore. And I'm like, okay, you sure they were animals? Did you take pictures? No, we ran. Tell me what they look like. Well, they weren't animals. They were skinwalkers.
Mhm.
I had them behind my house, but I made peace with them. I would always do the offerings back there. I would always say, look, we bought this land. Up to the house is yours. It was always yours. It remains yours. We will not build on it. We will not mess with it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that even your house, that's their land.
It is,
That's
but
what
they
they see.
allowed us
That's
the
the way
house.
they see it. I mean, if you think about it, there's not a place in the United States that's probably not having a skinwalker. Skinwalker could be walking down Times Square for all you know. I mean, because this was all Native Americans at one point.
But I just like, okay, this is ours. This is yours. We will not build on it if you leave us alone. And it was real calm. Scott, hey, honey.
And so I learned so much when I was in Taos that, with our Native American brothers and sisters. They opened up their hearts to me, their homes to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, we done horseback riding and all sorts of things. And then they asked me if I wanted to go to Window Rock, Arizona. And I've been to Arizona many, many times. And so Window Rock is the seat of the Navajo Nation. It's one of the holiest and most sacred places within the Navajo Nation. And there's a huge, huge rock mountain, and in the middle of it, middle of it is gone. Okay, they call it the window into the universe, and they don't allow a lot of non-Native Americans to go in there at all. But because of my volunteerism, and again, I'm not patting myself on the back, but this is what they have told me. But the reason that they allowed me to go inside there was because of what I have helped the people, right, and their children and such. Yeah. And so I went in there. So it took us about 2 hours to climb to the back of it and everything, and we did. And so I went into the middle of it. They were each standing on either side, and they said, "Robert, close your eyes and open your mind."
Right.
And so I did. Let me tell you, I thought I was there for hours. I was only there for several minutes. It was like a slideshow of everything that has happened in the ancient times, as they say. I heard the beating drums. I smelled smoke. I felt the pain, the anguish, the frustration, the hatred, death. I felt everything. And like, again, I thought I was there for hours. I was there maybe 5 minutes at the most. And let me tell you, from that one experience, that my gifts and my abilities have even gotten stronger.
Right.
And I cherish my time that I was out there. And now I will be leaving Illinois at the end of this month, and I'm going to go to Pine Ridge in South Dakota. And that is the Lakota Oglala Sioux Nation and such. Yeah. And that's where Wounded Knee is located in that area there. And I will be going back there. They asked me to come back because 20 years ago, I helped them start a mental health clinic and soup kitchen and homeless shelter. And so they have asked me to come back. And
that's awesome.
That's awesome. And see, that's the thing. That's amazing, because it's not the color. It's not where you come from. It's your soul. And they know that. My son is half Cherokee and Eastern Shawnee. I'm white. There's nothing else to. I'm white. But people that are intuitive have always said, Howard, have always said, I'm a shaman. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm not. And later, I figured it out. My son went towards shamanism. he went to the sweat lodge and he had to figure it out, what he was going to do. And he went towards shamanism.
Mm-hmm.
That's my tie to shamanism. That's what they're seeing is the energetic line between me and my son.
Right.
Now I'm a crystal healer, but I'm not a shaman. I am a healer, just not like that.
I just can't get into the crystals. I mean, I just can't do it. I just can't.
You need a bunch of them right on your head.
I just don't see it. I don't see how they would. I don't see what a rock has to do anything with healing.
Okay, I'll explain it to you because I was the same way. I'll tell you what made me realize, oh my God, it might be true, is I was watching a science channel that talked about Loch Ness. And it talked about the geological makeup of the Loch Ness, the loch. And scientists, more than one scientist came out and said that geological makeup of that can actually make a time warp. It can make you go into another dimension. Anything's possible. Just the geological makeup of this. Okay, we know limestone holds the stone tape theory. We know that. Why wouldn't crystals? I mean, geological makeup, it's crystals. It's limestone. Why wouldn't it help? Ever since, I mean, when the first little hieroglyphic things were written, there was aliens. There was crystals. They used them. That's my theory on it. I will take it. Whether you believe, whether you believe in God, whether you're pagan, whether you're whatever, it all comes down to the earth. The earth gives us what we need. That's my take on it. I don't argue the point. I don't, but that's just my belief.
And that's what our Native American brothers and sisters believe. I am Roman Catholic, so my spirituality is based on that. Mm-hmm. I don't want to convert anyone to anything. I don't care what they are, right?
Right.
But a lot of Native Americans are Catholic, and when I went to Mass with Daniel and Matthew and their families, they combine, instead of using incense like our church does, they would use sage, different types of sage. And so the church has allowed it. One time the church tried to eradicate everything from our Native American brothers and sisters, but now they have embraced that. Now they have embraced that. And part of the ritual part of the Catholic Church, like in New Mexico, Arizona. See, what is that?
Sage. I got some of that too.
Right here.
Very good. Very good. And there's different types of sage that I never knew even existed that they used and such. And so just going to that Mass, it was more spiritual. I really, really enjoyed that. And just being with our brothers and sisters. And also we traveled south of Flagstaff into Sedona area and Prescott. We went to Oak Creek Canyon, Sedona, Jerome, in that area there. And the Navajos and the other Native Americans that are in that area, they believe that a massive crystal, because of an earthquake, tipped over on its side and allowing all this energy to come out. And when you go to Oak Creek Canyon and when you go to the Red Rocks and stuff like that, you do feel differently. You really, really do. You feel this energy, this positive energy. And my brothers and sisters, if you're empath, intuitive, psychic medium, go to the area, go to the Red Rock country, because you will be changed forever.
Right.
It's an incredible experience.
Well, what type of sage do y'all use, by the way? I wanted to ask that question.
I've got regular sage. I've got one with rose in it. And I've got sage and Palo Santo.
That's all I got right now is Palo Santo.
And dragon's blood.
Dragon's blood and the regular sage.
I actually have some that the Rev, Sean here we go. Sean Whittington, I haven't been able to talk all day, sent me. It's actually been blessed by the Pope, and he sent it to me. And I saved that for something serious.
Yes, I am. I had to move to a different computer, Jeremy, because the connection upstairs was just going out of control. I couldn't take it anymore, so I moved down.
I have to say this real
What
fast.
kind of-
Nick. It is so nice to see your face.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry.
And Donald said something earlier. I'd love to investigate out west,
Yeah.
the country. Donald, you ever want to? I have a place in Carlsbad. It's called, Werewolf Hills, what they call it.
Can't remember it.
No, it's called Werewolf Hill, but it has nothing to do with a werewolf besides there used to be a man that lived up there. It was outside of town. He lived up there and he stayed there. He was like a recluse, so he looked like a werewolf. That's all that meant. But later they started doing satanic rituals up there, and you can hear the Indian drums when you're up there. The Indians and the satanic rituals it's like a fight. And it's kind of a toss-up of what you get when you go up there. Is the Indians coming through, or is it the people that have been hurt during the satanic rituals? About half a mile down the hill, you can see the first house. And the people that live there now still remember it. It was this lady would come running down the hill, and she was bloody. She knocked on their door. He opened the door. It was like 2, 3 in the morning. And she said, "Please help me. They tried to kill me." And he did help her. She didn't die, but they did try to sacrifice her. So and we've gotten the Indian drums. And the weirdest thing that happened to me, I was up there. We were investigating with Ghost Tech. And we went out. I investigated one time before that. I went up to the fence, and the fire department came up with us. We had the town come up there so they could just test out the equipment, see what we do. It was just kind of a free-for-all thing. And we walked over to the fence, and wolves came up. Like, they were not scared of us. They were not anything. I had a gun, and I pulled it, waiting for them to attack, and they didn't.
Did you dance with them? Miss Costa?
I'm not sure what I did with them, but I did not shoot any of them, and they did not harm any of us. They just sat there and looked at us. And it was like, anybody that knows wildlife knows if they're coming up to you, they either have rabies, they're sick.
Are they horny?
Food.
Are they horny? Because they can smell a woman menstruating. That's for sure.
I don't know about none of that, but they just stood there and they looked at us. And I drew my gun. And I never had to shoot.
So what kind of sage you had there, Nick?
This is Purple Canyon White Sage that I have.
It has a Purple Canyon White Sage.
Yeah.
Yep, White Sage. So, and I find it's actually been a while since I've opened the case up with this, and it's amazing how even if it's still contained in the bag, you can smell the sage smell to it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. But yeah, that's what I got though.
So you got rose, you mix rose with it. You got the dragon, you got the Purple Canyon.
Rose.
I use marijuana myself. I think it's more.
I'm gonna tell you what. I might be alone in this, but I think sage smells like weed. Look,
right?
I moved to Colorado.
Yeah.
Weed.
Why you think I burn it all the time?
Even right now, the smell.
No.
You don't know what
literally
the hell I'm
smells
coming at you with.
legal.
This literally smells like weed.
It's legal here.
Yes. And I walk outside and I'm like, is that the dispensary? Or is somebody getting rid of some shit out here? And you cannot walk down the street without being high. You can't.
I mean, I'm not surprised because Adrian over here in Illinois, it's been legalized over here. Robert, I'm sure you know that, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
very much.
Yep,
very much.
legal.
I get the gummy bears. I do. I get the gummy bears.
Let me tell you a story. Hold on.
That's kind of hard to smoke them damn bears, isn't it? It kind of like stop up your pipe.
You know, Worm, Robert, you had no clue you were opening up when you said gummy bears. You had no clue you opened up.
Yeah, we just had a show on that that was it was on here or Holy Trinity?
No, I was on here. It was on here because I was.
Oh, was it?
Okay.
about Zach trying to get the
changed the
bears
back-
into the cave.
I
Let me
changed the
tell-
background
Yeah.
for it too.
Stop that.
Close
Okay.
Adrian's
Let-
chat for me. I'm gonna
Let's tell a story here, okay? All right. Background. Adrian does not do THC. I don't.
But you do the shit out of them gummy bears, cave
no.
woman.
No. See this? Do you see the nice, neat little their lines? Okay, that's your dosage. Okay. Okay. This you can't see the lines. Okay. Adrian thought it'd be a good idea to take one of these the other night because Adrian went to sleep.
I can imagine.
I thought this was one. I took half. Okay. What I really did was took two. Okay.
Zach
Oh,
wasn't complaining, was he?
He didn't know. I text my daughter when I seen the rest of these and said, "Oh my God, can you OD on this shit?" Because I just took two. She's like, "Night, night, Mom. You're fine. Night, night." I text my best friend. She's like, "Good night." Okay. This is hybrid. It's one that's supposed to put you down and one that's supposed to help you, I don't know, concentrate. Hell, I don't know.
Right.
Everybody keeps asking what flavor.
THC flavor. It's like you're eating some shit. Yeah, it's gross.
Sticky punch flavor.
Gross. It's gross. So,
Oh
mind you, now I give blood. Okay. So I give blood every few days. Plasma.
You wasn't giving over. I don't want your blood. If I
I don't want to hear you.
I'll fall. I'll be stoned. I wouldn't need no pain meds. Just give me some Adrian shit. Hit me right there.
So I asked, okay, we're in Colorado. So I asked, if you have THC in your system, can you still donate this? And they're like, yeah. Do you have cocaine, methamphetamines, whatever? No. Then you can have it. You can do what? Okay. The moral of the story is it doesn't affect me that way. I still had to take melatonin to go to sleep, but it tastes like shit. And yes, Nick, gummy bears. Yes, I will do regular gummy bears. I love those.
So does
So
that.
does Zach. Zach loves them.
I was going to say, wait a minute. I thought we were talking about normal gummy bears.
I was like, we didn't go to the gummy bear topic. So Robert would know what can of worms he opened.
Nothing illegal unless you get caught, Sam.
Yeah.
Well, it's not illegal here. You walk down the street with a joint. They don't give a shit.
Hey,
Right.
Hey, Sam, don't forget. Sam, don't forget to mention that, it's only funny, too, if everyone lives with whatever illegal stuff you're getting into.
Oh, jeez. Irene, I'm A positive.
I know when I went into the sweat lodges, 7 of them at different times, the first 3 times never smoked any peyote, but the other times I did. Just a couple of tokes or puffs, whatever you want
Did
to
you drink
call
the
it.
tea?
No, but I also used peyote buttons, and I brought them back to Illinois with me. And but anyhow, what I experienced in that was just fascinating. It was just like my mind. Of course, back in the 70s, I did drugs and dropped acid and all that shit 1,002 years ago, right? But it's just like this peyote just opened my mind even more, and it wasn't like the exhilaration of like acid, nothing like that. It was very subtle, but I just felt I was even connected with myself even more. And being a psych comedian, being a forensic psychologist, what I was taught in psychology and all this stuff about peyote and all these drugs and everything, I experienced something wonderful. I really, really did.
Right.
I did. And so they asked me if I wanted to take some of these buttons home. I said, yeah, why not? You know. And but anyhow, so I have some peyote buttons, and you know, I have like 5 left. And you know, sometime when I'm urged or feel the need for me to take those, I will. But you know, but again, my experience out in the Southwest was phenomenal. There were several places in New Mexico where these ruins are like over 1,000 years old or better, and just going into this natural amphitheater.
Yeah.
It was south of Gallup and north of Albuquerque, and these Native Americans were there 1,000 years ago, right? And they left. All at once, they just disappeared. But just going into these ruins and just feeling everything of like the drum beating and the smelling of the smoke and everything about that, it was just phenomenal. And to be there, to pick up the dirt, to touch the rocks and stuff like that, to sit in this natural amphitheater and just to feel that, what, just incredible. I can't put it into words at times the things that I have experienced with our Native American brothers and sisters.
I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Now, I'm known as an aquatic demonologist, okay, but I just can't see ingesting shit. I just can't do it.
He's known as King of Shit. He's just putting a nice name on it. No, the reason I took that the other night was because I kept getting woke up at 1:27 a.m. every night. I don't know what it was, but I thought, you know what, we got to sleep. Or if this wakes me up, we're going to have to go in the living room. We're going to have a talk, because whatever it is, we got to fix it. The night before, I had smelled Guy's cologne, and it was no cologne I've ever smelled before. It was like the old Brute, Old Spice, whatever that was.
Armpit. That's what it was. It was armpit in a bottle.
No, I'm that age where I remember when that was okay.
That was okay. What?
When was that ever okay?
It was at one point, kind of like the Avon cars with the cologne in them.
I used to sell Avon.
But and then
look at it. She sprouted that too.
Whatever it was, that night I had a dream that one of our maintenance guy had walked in the house. I let him in, shut the door, started to shut the door behind him, and this guy slithered under the door. And I knew this guy, and I can't place who he is, but I know him.
And how many gummy bears did you eat after that? Before that?
He was like slithering like a snake.
It sounds weird. It sounds like my ex-lover.
It might be. And he just looked at me, and I knew I didn't like him. I knew there was something wrong.
Yeah, that was Derek. Yeah, that was him.
And he was a Hispanic guy.
Yeah.
And I just kind of went, oh. And I woke up scared to death. I didn't know what the hell just happened. I was like, okay, you know what? We're done. Next time, we're just going to get up. We're going to go in the living room. We're going to have a talk with whoever it is. And we're going to go back to bed, because this is not happening anymore.
No. It sounds
You could have invited him into bed.
Oh, don't worry. He was there, but she didn't know it. She was too high.
No, because Zach brings enough females. Somehow he gets female spirits to yell at him in the middle of the night, holler and wake up. So no, I think probably
females. It's called your ex-wife. That's what it's called.
Oh no, the ex-wife is a long ways away. No,
you still hear that shit. You could be divorced for years and you still hear that shit. That's psychological, man. That messes up your it messes up your brain big time.
What were you about to say, Howard?
That might be true.
Incredible. I know when I was in Zion National Park, and that's like in northern Arizona and southern Utah, And I was there with Matthew and Daniel, and they had gone off. And all at once, this guy came up to me, and he was creepy. I just got this feeling there's something not right with him.
Mm-hmm.
And my spirit said, Robert, give him your rosary. And I tried to give it to him. And he said, you don't know who I am, but I am drawn to you. I want you to go with me on this trail. I said, are you fucking nuts? You know, there's no way. There's no way that I would go. You know what I mean? There were so many people there. But this guy just like was drawn to me and stuff like that. He put out his hand. I gave him my rosary. And then within seconds, he goes, no, you can have it back. I believe I know, and when Daniel and Matthew came up, the guy just kind of like went off fast. I do believe that was a skinwalker. I really, really do. I do.
And might have hurt you.
Yeah. And that's one thing. Yeah, because this guy came up from nowhere, and I asked him if he was with his family or friends. No, he says, no, I'm here by myself just to experience a lot of things with all these people, which is creepy in itself. You know what I mean?
And I hope he didn't get somebody else.
I don't know, but I just know that when Daniel and Matthew came and they said something to him in their Navajo language, and then he just kind of like went running, not really running, but really walking very, very fast. So anyway, so that was one of many experiences, you know. Also, that I have been in the Appalachian Mountains of eastern Kentucky and western West Virginia, volunteering with these wonderful mountain brothers and sisters. You know, all at once I wanted to hear dueling banjos from Deliverance, you know. But anyhow, it was a wonderful.
That's the first thing that popped in my head when you said that.
Yeah. Well,
I lived there. It's awesome.
It's beautiful.
I've been there.
It's beautiful. And so I was there for 6 months, and the closest town was 50 miles away. The closest highway was probably 20 miles. People would come to this food pantry on horseback, mule, whatever, and they really opened up their hearts and their homes to me. I remember one time going over a footbridge over this river, and all at once I heard like gunshots. I thought, what the hell is that? And then I looked over at this sign. It says, no trespassing, you will be shot. And then I realized that, hell, by then I'm already halfway on this footbridge going over this river. And I had brought supplies to this person that I heard that needed supplies. So he came out of the house, he had a gun, and I kept walking. And let me tell you that experience and talk to this gentleman of how he was raised, just him and his family. And this property has been in their family over 200 and some years. And it was just fascinating meeting these people. These people didn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. But let me tell you that they were some of the most loving people that I've ever met in my life. They would bring me honey, things that they made homemade. And at first, I felt badly taking that because they didn't have anything. But they wanted to show their appreciation for me being there, right? And so then I took those things, but just being in the mountains, in the Appalachian Mountains, and seeing black bear, which you don't see too often, and seeing those beautiful animals, and even rattlesnakes. And I hate snakes, especially two-legged snakes.
Yeah.
But just getting in touch with the environment there, it was just beautiful. And I really, really enjoyed my 6 months there. I really, really did.
I lived in a town in Kentucky that was 300 people at the most.
Uh-huh.
It was called Mount Eden. And it was next to Shelbyville. I was a paralegal in Shelbyville, but we lived in Mount Eden. People rode their horses to their friends' houses.
Mm-hmm.
The parades were nothing but horses.
Right.
And I took my horse and I had sprayed him red, white, and blue. And
but your horse was pissed off at you, wasn't he?
Not at all. I lived so far out in the country that I would train the horses where I was at. It took a footbridge to cross over a river to get to the house. If
Right.
it was frozen or the river was up, you didn't go to your house. You took that footbridge. And I had 4 kids at the time. So it was like, okay, hold hands, grab, and let's go.
Mhm.
I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. That farmhouse was about 170 years old at the time.
Right. Mhm.
I loved that place. We took the mantle down, and there was a letter from 1920 something, I believe, and it talked about her being pregnant. And she was telling the guy who she thought got her pregnant,
Mhm.
and the letter never got mailed. It was sealed behind the fireplace.
Wow.
When we
Wow.
took it down, the insulation was horsehair and mud. That I guess
Why did
that's
you take it down? Why did you take it down?
because it was falling down. It had flooded, and it was time to redo it.
Mhm.
Did you put it back up?
Yeah. There was a few different rocks we had to put in, but we did.
And to where I was very close to Inez and Beauty, Kentucky. Where I stayed, where I was at, the Cumberland River was just right out my back door. And during that time, also, I got to meet some of the Hatfields,
Okay.
like the Hatfields and McCoys and stuff like that. So some of their ancestors, and so getting to know some of those folks. But again, the Appalachian people, oh my God, the severe poverty. I thought I saw poverty in this country until I went to the Navajo Nation, and then when I went to the Appalachian Mountains, and the poverty is nothing like we see in the inner city. Nothing at all. You go there, there's dirt floors, but let me tell you, they are the most happiest, loving,
Yes.
giving people. Okay? They don't like a lot of people from the north. It's not like I just went gangbusters there to, because I knew it was culturally, I was in their environment.
Right.
Okay? So I had to learn about their culture and about the mores and their traditions that they have. But again, they opened up their hearts, and I was there in the spring, and they had a horrible ice storm, and the Catholic Charities in Lexington and Louisville
Mhm.
and Covington, they wanted me to leave that because the ice storm was supposed to be so bad, and I said, no, why should I run away when our brothers and sisters have to put up with this? That doesn't make sense to me. I am there to help them in any way that I can. So I stayed. So they sent me truckloads of blankets and stuff like that. And I remember probably 2 hours into the storm, there was a knock at the door, and it was 3 families that needed help. And they had children. I opened my door up immediately.
Mhm.
Had a big fireplace, and these women kind of took over, which was cool. And so they made all the meals and everything. And it was just wonderful. And then at night, the electricity went out. But just to sit around the fireplace and hear about the traditions
Mhm.
and the ancestry and
Yep.
such like that, just like with our Navajo brothers and sisters and Zuni brothers and sisters and the Lakota Sioux and the Ogallala Sioux. But just to be there to experience something that you will never read in a book in school.
Right.
Never.
Right.
Never. I have a deeper appreciation for the mountain people of the Appalachians. It,
Yep.
it was something that I will never forget. Never. And
Did
so,
you ever hear of Rourke Mountain?
no, man.
That was my ex-husband's family, and he was telling me stories that if somebody died up there, they had to wait till spring to bury him because you weren't getting down that mountain to go do it.
Right.
Like, oh Lord, I really went backwoods here. But before I was done there, he had to go to New Orleans to help with FEMA. I stayed home with the kids. Never shot a gun in my life at that point. I
Uh-huh.
was left with 4 kids and a gun. I'm like, yay. We heat with nothing but firewood, so I had to go cut it, which I had no problem with. And one day I walked out and I heard this awful noise. And we had a creek right there with stone. It was stone here and stone here, and then the water. And there was this deer that had gotten shot, but it got shot in the rear end, and it went up its rear end. So it was still moving and just crying. And it was so cold outside, and it was sticking its butt in the water, trying to get that cold to go away, or that hot to go away from the gunshot, and just getting it cold. I was looking around. I told my kids, go get the 45. I'd never shot it before in my life. I said, go get it. We got to do something. They went and got it. I had them go back to the house. I had it pointed, thinking, this is going to ricochet off that rock and it's going to get me. I can't do this. About that time, a hunter came up and he said, ma'am, do you want me to shoot it for you? I said, if you can do it without killing both of us, yes. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. He did it. He helped me drag it up to the yard. I hung it up. I skinned it. I did all of it and had the kids taking it in as I was taking it off the deer.
Mm-hmm.
And they were sticking it straight in the frying pan. I was like, you know what? No kids will ever get to experience that.
Right.
At this age.
Look at you being all nature-like. God.
They're 24 and 23 now. And none of their friends have ever done anything like that, but they know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky will teach you some things that you never knew.
Survival skills, very much so. Very
I
much.
had one guy who was supposed to be my caretaker while my husband was gone. He was like a good friend of ours. I thought I knew him well. Come to find out, he was leader of some awful, awful group in Kentucky. I had no idea. He took care of me like I was his daughter. But looking back now and knowing what I know, I would never have followed his lead. But I learned so much there. It's unreal. Kentucky is like going back in time.
Oh, amen. Oh, very much so. Yes, it is. It's like, you step back maybe 100 years, 200 years. They even, the Appalachian people have a different accent. It's English, of American English, right? But they have a different accent. The way they say things is totally different. And I know that a couple of friends that I met there, I mean, very, very good friends. And so they said, Robert, we're going to take you out to breakfast. I thought, oh my God, I'll probably end up eating possum or raccoon or rat or whatever.
They're all good.
Yeah. And so anyhow,
You eat a possum?
Yeah.
I have.
No, that's nasty. You don't eat that. I eat anything, but I don't eat no possum. Shit, that's nasty.
Yeah. And so they brought their horses, and so they picked me up at the food pantry, and I rode a horse. And we rode probably about 10 miles. And all at once, this little cafe out of nowhere was just right there. And the main meal of the day was fried bologna. Fried bologna, 2 thick slices of fried bologna, grits, and different things, biscuits and gravy. But the gravy, the meat was raccoon. Totally different than I was ever used to. And I never wanted to hurt anyone's feelings. I didn't, you know what I mean? Because I'm a guest there. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to experience so much. And so it was like fried bologna. And this waitress came up and she reminded me, yeah, that was part of his relative. This waitress came up. She had maybe 4 teeth in her mouth. God bless her. She had a big beehive hairdo and everything, and she was chewing her gum and smoking a cigarette. And she goes, darling, what do you want? I can't do her accent. But anyhow, I said, the first thing I said, and then she goes, you're from the north, aren't you? What are you doing down here? And I said, I'm here to the food pantry and everything. And she goes, oh, you're there. And I said, yeah. She goes, well, they had heard of me. Word gets around. Maybe not, they don't have telephones and everything. There's no phone service, cell service there.
Yep.
But everybody knew that I was there at this food pantry helping. And she paid my meal. And let me tell you, I ate every damn thing that they gave me. And I will never forget that. And I love fried bologna. When I was growing up, that's what we ate was
fried bologna sandwiches. Man, that's a good sandwich there, boy.
I love
You
that.
go to the fair to get and they have fried bologna is like $5-6, and I mean everybody's selling it now like $5 or $6 a sandwich. And like, we ate that because it was a cheap meal. Now
Right.
everybody's selling it for like $5 or $6.
Right.
Robert, what she said was, "Hey, darling, what would you like?" I was a waitress down there.
Grizzly Adrian. That's what we're going to start. I'm calling you Grizzly. Grizzly Adrian. Like Grizzly Adams, Grizzly Adrian.
Hey, you know what? When it all comes down to it, this redneck bitch is going to survive. Because
no, you didn't. You were not there. You go out there, you're skinning deers and everything like Grizzly Adams would, but you also like them damn gummy bears too. So it's two different things. You feed on. There's too many things to deal with you with the bear. So there it is, Grizzly Adrian. Just call you Grizzly.
Zach would like that since his nickname's Polar Bear. Yeah, be all right.
This other experience I had there was a group of Catholic nuns. Several of them were doctors, and several of them were nurses. And they would go down on a John boat or a flat boat down the Cumberland River, and they would take supplies, medicines, and such like that. And they asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, of course, I wanted to experience everything, right, or as much as I could. And so I went, and probably 5 miles, and so people would be waiting on the riverbank. And this is, this was just several years ago, right? And it's like, oh my God, people live like this. It was just really hard for me to perceive that. But again, I learned so much. And this family came down to the riverbank. The boat went, the boat was over there, whatever. And anyhow, they had supplies. And all at once, this woman came up and said, "My child is sick." And so sister goes, "Robert, come with me." We must have hiked probably a mile from the river. And this little boy was deathly sick. He was wheezing. It turned out to be that he had tuberculosis. And this little boy, and I'm sorry, it's just, to see just 100 miles, healthcare was wonderful. But in the Appalachian Mountains, like it is on the Native American reservations, even the Native American hospitals are horrible in New Mexico.
Yeah.
They are horrible. Yeah. Oh my God, I'd rather anyhow. But anyhow, and so I picked this little boy up, and he was so thin, and his mother came with me. So we walked back another mile to the boat, and then we went probably another 5 miles, and we got to a larger community and such. And so sister got to a phone, called for a medevac helicopter to come and get this little boy. And I remember I was holding him, trying to console him, and he died in my arms. And I will never forget that.
No, that's not something you forget.
No.
For me in my life, I believe that God or the universe puts us where we need to be at any given time. And I was supposed to experience that.
Yep.
And being a criminal profiler for 30 plus years for the state of Florida, I saw death all the time. I saw death constantly. But this really hit me hard because this little boy died in my arms. And how he was buried was that in that part of Kentucky, you're allowed to bury your loved ones on your own land. So you would see this huge high mountain, and there would be gravestones on the side of this mountain of where where people were buried. And so the little boy passed, and so we brought him back to the area of Kentucky, and the family asked me if I wanted to go to the funeral. Of course I did, to show my respect. And they wanted to show me respect by coming from the north, a person who wasn't going to steal their land, a lot of the government did. Even the state of Kentucky stole their land. The government did. These people were so illiterate, God bless them, that they didn't know what they were signing, and they signed away their mineral rights, and they lived poorly when everybody else was getting rich off of them.
Yeah.
But just being with this family, and I remembered that the little boy's coffin was nothing but a wood box.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but a wood box, but it was so loving the way they had prepared it and everything. And so that experience I will never forget. And there are so many more experiences in my life that the God or the universe have opened up to me. And I know that I'm a better person for it today.
Oh yeah.
And like a lot of you know that I'm with children in the very last hours of their lives, and I assist them to cross over. And Howard, I think I sent you some pictures of those children. I think that I did. And I don't know if you want to show them or not. I have permission.
Sure.
I have permission to do that. The last one, the last one is a little girl named Angela.
You want me to share it?
Yeah, would you? Let me send it to you.
Yeah, I can do that.
And the last little girl that I was with was just 3 weeks ago, and her name was Angela. And she was so sick. And so her family knew that I was a psychic medium and the things that I do and such. And so I was with Anne for 2 hours, and her breathing became very erratic. She was so young, so beautiful. And she opened her eyes several times when I was talking and rubbing her head and telling her that I loved her and that she's going to be going to a playground where she could play, where she could just run and be with other children,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then and because I always tell the children, if they can understand, is that I am there to be with them part of their journey. But this beautiful angel, that's Reed, bless his soul. But there was another picture of Angela who I'm talking about.
Yeah, you guys can see that, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can see it, Nick.
Okay.
I sent them quite a few of them.
Yeah, give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to get all the pictures ready. So bear with me for just a second here.
Okay. And how I met Reed was that his family are very poor. They live in Illinois also. And I was back home just briefly, and they needed money for transportation and such to go back to Memphis, and that's Logan. Logan was here in Illinois too. That was before he was taken home, and I was with him when he went to heaven. And so his family reached out to me, understood who I was, and such like that.
Oh.
And this picture of Reed was taken just an hour before he passed, before he went to heaven.
Wow. That was that high period before, like, they come back to life before they're gone.
Yeah, yeah.
And that little stuffed animal is the animal that I gave him, and anyhow, Reed was buried with that. And so we have this wonderful event. They had only sold 50 tickets, but then when I came on board, and again, it's not all about me. I believe that God or the universe puts us where we need to help these families. And before we know it, 300 tickets were sold. And in 7 hours, we raised $15,000 for this family. But just to be with Reed and his family, and just to get to know this little boy. And what I usually do is I usually shave my head and my eyebrows and everything, because a lot of the children have been on chemotherapy and their hair is no longer there. Yeah. And a lot of the kids will pat me on my head and, "Ooh, you're bald," some of them will say, and such like that, you know, and a lot of them have no idea that I'm coming, like with Lucas. And I went to Lucas's door and opened the door, and he goes, "What took you so long?" He had no idea that I was coming. His family never told him I was coming, but his spirit did.
Yeah.
And I play the guitar, so I always bring my guitar, stuffed animals and stuff like that. And so he asked me to play a song, and I said, "What song do you want me to play?" And he said, "Silent Night." So I played Silent Night, and then during the last words of Silent Night, he passed.
Yep.
He was
But
waiting
they
for it.
passed
Yeah.
peacefully because of that.
He wanted
Right.
to finish hearing it.
Now I got one more picture that Howard sent me. This is the last one right here.
Yeah. Oh, that's Angela that I was with, and I was
That's the
holding.
last one, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the last one.
And I was holding Angela, and her breathing became erratic. I saw this bright light flash in the room, and this angel was getting closer. And so I handed Angela to her father, and her father was holding her, and then put Angela on his lap. And this is the picture when Angela went to heaven.
Robert,
That's awesome.
I don't think
Wow.
you really need to hear this, but because I think you already know, but thank you. As a parent, thank you.
She knew. She knew, and Dad knew.
And when people say, "Oh, Robert, you're so strong," I said, "No." I said that we all have abilities and we all have things that we can do and can't do.
Mhm.
I am just so very blessed to be with these children and to be with their parents.
I don't like you now, Robert. You got me crying over here.
I'm sorry. Anyway, it's just me. That's who I am. And so, being Italian and Spanish, I cry at the damn Waltons, for God's sake. The house in the prairie. You know what I mean? But anyhow, I love doing what I'm doing.
And
So,
I was actually talking to a friend of mine the other day, and there's people out there who they use their abilities for themselves. They say they try to help others, and do not get me wrong. I do understand when people have to get financial gain from things. I get that. So I know this is going to be kind of touchy, but when people only use it for that purpose and not because their heart leads them where, you're not doing yourself any service. You're not doing other people any service. So people like you and people like some of my other friends who do it to help others, thank you.
Yeah, that's an organization we both belong to, isn't it, Robert? Knights of Columbus.
yes, we do. Yes, very much so. Yes, very much so. And then I know working with the Knights, and they know it here in this area, and also the Knights that I met in New Mexico. They know that I'm a psychic medium, and they had introduced me to some people that needed some help, and so I helped them. And but just these experiences is just something that I was created to do. You know what, my brothers and sisters, I don't ask a dime for anything that I do. I'm not wealthy by no means. And people will ask me, well, how much do you charge? And I said, listen, I said, if you call somebody and the first thing they say is, this is how much they want, everybody has to make a buck. I understand that, right?
Right.
Right. And for me, I tell them, if somebody is the first thing that comes out of a spirit investigation group or psychic medium, the first thing comes out of their mouth, money, hang up on them. Really hang up on them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for me personally, people will ask me how much I charge, and I say nothing. If you want to give me something, God bless you. But if you want to say a prayer for me, that's even better.
Yep.
Because some of these people, they don't have, just
They don't have a dime. They don't have a dime.
And they're spending, you do not plan on, especially a young child, you do not plan to bury your child. Burial costs are expensive.
Oh, tell me about it. I know that from experience.
Right. And then
Right.
you don't, you don't plan on that. So you've got that on top of, now you got people who are wanting 200, 300, whatever dollars.
Right.
Just be, and sometimes you're given a gift for a reason. And again, I understand needing to make money. There is ways to still do that.
Yeah.
But then you've got those people who just, they'll do, they won't do anything unless
Right.
they don't do
Right.
anything to help.
And that's what pisses me off about these people with these foundations and everything. You see people that they'll get a 501c3 and they'll spend the minimum on it, and they'll get, they'll throw some kind of BS out there and go out and wind up buying them a new car or fast boat or something that they don't, it's not going to what they're actually supposed to be using that money for. And when it makes that, when people do that, it makes, foundations like mine, people kind of like look at it and like, what is that for? What is that for? And you have to go through a whole song and dance just to explain everything which I don't mind doing it, but it's just become where people are too untrusting and dishonest.
Somebody needs that Maserati to get from location A to location B. They need that Maserati and not the Honda.
I mean, the money I get for the foundation, of course, everything is out in the open. You have to have everything's.
It's transparent.
It's very transparent, and everything that goes. I mean, it's all for the foundation. It's to help the people I help in my foundation.
Right, and that and you know what, Howard? Thank you. Also, my brothers and sisters, if you want me to come to any event for a fundraiser, I don't charge a dime. Nothing whatsoever.
Well,
okay.
Why don't you just come investigate with me?
Where do you want to go?
Anywhere in Colorado. Let's go.
Don't go in the cave.
I would have said.
Don't go in the cave.
I would have said the same. Robert, I would have said the same thing. Investigate with me since you're only 3 hours away from me.
Nick is amazing to investigate with. Absolutely amazing.
I would, yeah. And so, truthfully, I would love to, but I know at this end of this month, I came back home because my sister had breast cancer, and God bless that everything is well, and she's well. Praise God, she's well, and also I had to come back, and I don't like to talk about my ailments, and but anyhow, I will be.
Yep. Indiana.
We are like, I'm in Colorado. The rest of things is in Indiana. Like Jeremy just said, plenty of places in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
We're scattered everywhere. And
right.
There's two of us within a few hours of each other that belong to things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Indiana, and hopefully Jeremy will make something in the middle of where we can all meet.
Yeah, no shit. Like, man, y'all get me, driving me crazy. I'm not driving all the way up to Ohio.
You're driving to Kansas, dude. You're driving to Kansas. That's what
I'm not going nowhere around. I'll drive around Kansas.
This is Ohio we're talking about, not Kansas.
You go
same thing. Anything past Shreveport is like no.
We don't hear you. We don't hear you.
Just come through Mississippi and then go that way.
Oh, I love Mississippi. I love Mississippi. I did some internships in Yazoo City, if you know where that is. In the heart
My daughter lives in Yazoo City.
Oh, wonderful. I did an internship there, and that was in 1975, not 1875.
We weren't here.
Oh, you're too young. And but I had this government money, and so I could find different houses within the Delta, because the Delta is one of the poorest areas, even to this day, in the whole country, entire country. And I remember walking down this dirt road. It was hotter than the hinges of hell. Even the flies were slow. People had dogs, on their porch, and they were just up and away. It was so hot. And so this older black woman, Miss Pearl, God bless her soul, she goes, and I can't do an accent, so I'm not even going to try. She goes, "What, boy, what are you doing?" And I said, and I was spit on. Prior to that, she saw me being spit on by some young guys that were. And I understand that, because the American government did screw those people over from the time of election to even today. Okay, and I said I have a lot of money through the government, and I said I am here to get 12 houses that the government has this funding to have people within the Delta itself to construct these houses, or to revamp them, to remodel them, because a lot of these houses were still slave houses that their great grandparents were on and stuff like that. no, no screens on the windows, no air conditioning, no running water, nothing like that. And so I told her about the program, and so Miss Pearl goes, "You come back on Sunday and you go to church with me." And she goes, "I'll introduce you." And just Miss Pearl opened so many doors for me. And, and so we got the construction crew from Yazoo City, from Hattiesburg, from the Delta itself, so the money could be up there to help these people. And to this day, Miss Pearl's house, God rest her soul, she's been dead many, many years now. And, but anyhow, and her daughter moved to Georgia because she was ashamed. She was ashamed of how she lived in the Delta. Yeah. And so Miss Pearl had not seen her daughter for years. Yeah. And I remember right after when I left, and it was real sad because, oh my gosh, these churches lasted for hours on Sunday. It lasted forever. Then after that, they had like fried catfish and greens that I've never eaten before. Greens and
mustard, collard. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff there. Turnip
greens.
I like turnip greens.
Chitlins.
Anyhow, yeah. Oh yeah, have those. I thought I'd puke when I ate those. But anyhow,
Adrian's like, what? You don't like my people food?
Well, you'll have to come down. I know you've seen Donald and Rebecca Martin in the chat. They have the Old Southern Funeral Home and the Old Itala County Jail out in Kosciuszko, Mississippi. When you're
that'd
doing
be fascinating
tours
to
around,
go to.
You should come up there.
I am so ready to go there.
Donna. So I'm trying. I got to get in touch with Donald. I need to get up there. I got to go.
You're not allowed, Howard.
I'm going.
No. Donna.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going.
I saw what you said. Sweetie, message me. I'll be glad to help you. Somebody help me. And I wouldn't be where I am if somebody hadn't helped me.
I was going to address that too.
You're welcome to message me. I'll be glad to help you.
And Robert, since you do a lot of traveling, I'm going to tell you about my project that me and my best friend created Paranormal Against Missing and Exploited Children on Facebook. Now, it's open to anyone to be able to post about missing children right now because I'm in Facebook jail. I have not been able to post. But
Wait, what?
She's in jail again.
Well, I'm still in jail. It was
do not blame this one on me. That's definitely not me that did that.
That one's over. She's done with yours.
I don't even know how I did it.
Jeremy.
Donna, her name is on the screen. It's Adrian Hart.
Since you do so much traveling, the whole concept behind it is more so like if you stop at a gas station to be able to keep your eyes open and see if you see any of these children that are out missing. So anybody can post Amber Alerts. They can post anything that they see on pages. I follow several different groups and I share it over to it. So if you're going to a certain area, you can see, okay, what's in Kentucky, any missing children in Kentucky. Well, not all of them, obviously, but I try my best.
That group is amazing. And her best friend, I won't mention names.
Beth Allen.
We call her Paratha. Oh, okay, well, I didn't know if she wanted
she's
her
here right now.
name mentioned.
Oh, there she is.
Yep, I was about to say, Eileen, once you said it,
that's
boom, there she is.
That's one person I will not. No, we're not going there. I'm not big enough for that. But she has a reason for what she did, and she absolutely did something awesome with something tragic, which didn't turn out tragic, but it could have.
Right.
But she turned it into something amazing. And we all post on there. There's also some of us psychics do
remote viewing.
Yes.
That's what I do also. I do a lot of remote viewing, and that really helped me within being a criminal profiler for the state of Florida also.
Yes.
But I could never document it that my spirit or this is what I did or whatever, but I did put it into the documentation. But I had to be very careful in how
I remote viewed my refrigerator.
Right. Police don't say, "Oh well, I had a psychic help me." They're
Right.
not taking that to court.
No,
Right.
no.
They have to find a different way to say, "I found them."
Right. And
But
this one little girl
Yeah.
that was missing in the Ocala National Forest in Florida, in Ocala, when I saw that and I saw her trailer, and it's like, oh my God, I know where she is. And even working for the state, I had contacted the state police within Miami area and said, listen, this little girl is there. And how I found Jessica was that the night that she was missing, that before I went to sleep, I said, Jessica, I'm here to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Let me know. Help me find you. And then, because when I saw the trailer that she lived in, and the animal that lived across the road from her was a pedophile. He was in his late 60s. He had gotten her, right? The police went into his trailer, in his mobile home. She was bound and gagged in the closet, but they never looked. Never, those bastards. Anyhow, that night, all at once, something lifted this huge cement cap off where Jessica was. And little Jessica looked at me, and she was wearing her little brown tam, and that was her. I saw her immediately. I called authorities, and I said, you need to go back because that is where she's at. And they hung up on me.
Oh.
I called again to someone else, and I had a lot of friends, of course, being a criminal profiler for the state. I had a lot of friends in the law enforcement all over Florida. And I called them, and they go, Robert, you're going to be hung up on all the time. And I did. And when I saw her, and she was still alive, and then 24 hours later, they found her dead. And that bothered me. In fact, that I turned off my ability for a long time afterwards, because I
don't mean to interrupt with you, Robert, but it's 8:59. We have to call the show. Oh, no. And we have a show that's coming on at 9:00, so we're got to end this right now.
Okay.
I'd like to thank you for coming on tonight. I'm gonna see about talking to you seeing about getting you on another show or coming back and
thank you.
finishing this up.
Thank you, Howard. And my telephone number is 309-213-0325. 309-213. Okay, cool. And if anybody needs assistance or just wants to talk or they need help on their own paranormal journey, please let me know. If you have an event, I will come there, no charge.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on. And from the Pitre Dish, we'd like to say everybody have a good night. And we'll see y'all next week.
Good night. Thank you.